Turn it loud, turn it up. Yeah! Alarm clock yelling, I'm already late. Got crumbs on the shirt, syrup on the plate. Dialing the chaos, breakfast in the booth. We flipping these stories, stacking up the truth. Burnt edge headlines, center stay sweet. News in the napkin, served on the beat. From the first black coffee to the drive time jam. If you're hungry for the real, you know who I am. Let's go. We got call-ins, hot takes, phones all ring. Side jokes, same old thing. Bites of the big report. Say it with your chest when you say that. This is the Waffle Report. Wake up, break out, cut through the noise. This is the Waffle Report. Crunch time chatter for the girls and boys. Flip that script, don't twist, don't toy. Say it one more time. The Waffle Report. Hey, say it one more time. The Waffle Report.
Yo, welcome back to the Deep Dive. We are live in the studio, and man, it has been an absolutely wild week on the platform.
Oh, without a doubt. The energy is just vibrating on a completely different frequency right now.
Right, exactly. So for everyone tapping in with us this week, we are looking at the window from March 12th to March 19th, 2026. And instead of looking outward at what everyone else is doing, we are taking a deep dive into our own house.
Yeah, we're opening up the vault.
Exactly. We are breaking down the exact blueprint we've been building right here at foldedwaffle.com. Because we know that whether you're an artist, an entrepreneur, or just someone trying to navigate this chaotic digital landscape, there are real gems in the ecosystem we've built.
And I think it's important to state off the rip why we do this, like why we exist as an internal team pushing this platform. The modern digital infrastructure right now is basically a massive traffic jam of pure talent, you know?
Oh, 100%. Just bottlenecked.
Right. You have these visionary artists who are just completely stuck behind opaque algorithms, corporate walls, and just a severe lack of actual developmental support. We decided a long time ago that complaining about the traffic doesn't get you home.
You have to build a new road entirely.
Exactly. You have to build an off-ramp.
And that's what this deep dive is all about. We are going to reverse engineer our own platform for you today. We'll break down the new drops on the site, how we build community, how we maintain our editorial integrity, and honestly, the most important part, how we teach you to protect your mental space.
Yeah, that mental architecture is everything.
For sure. And speaking of architecture, before we even get into the music, I gotta say, I hit up Marathon Burger out here in LA right before we got in the booth today.
Oh man, you can't bring up Marathon on an empty stomach.
I know, but it's relevant, right? Because they are a spot that is just so deeply tied to community empowerment and our cultural legacy out here. It's the same energy we try to bring to the site.
Yeah, and if you're up in the Bay Area, it's that hyphy burger energy. Just undeniable flavor and raw connection to the local scene. That's the exact vibe we curate on Folded Waffle.
Exactly. It's a holistic lifestyle. So let's get right into the waffle drop for this week. We dropped some heavy pieces on the site, and I want to start with this fundamental shift in philosophy that our team pushes.
Right, the community-driven aspect.
Yeah. If you read the pieces from our lead editors this week, guys like Alexander Davis, O Knight, Lance and Tate, they're preaching a very specific gospel. And that gospel is basically, do not wait for permission.
That is the core of it. You do not wait for some major label A&R rep to scroll past your short-form video and decide to knight you.
Right.
We constantly emphasize that discipline and self-reliance are the actual crown. You have to forge that yourself.
And I want to talk about how we package that philosophy on the site. Because I know for a new reader, someone who's just finding Folded Waffle this week, our taxonomy might seem a little crazy.
Aha! Yeah, the culinary metaphor.
Right. Like, we have this intense, militant dedication to independent sovereignty and strict music critique, but then we wrap the entire site in breakfast food puns.
I mean, it works, though.
It does, but let's explain it to the listener. If you want our deeply critical, long-form music reviews, you have to click on the section we call Booth Seating.
Yeah. And if you're looking for the quick hits, you know, the rapid-fire discovery of new singles that we just dropped, we call that bar top bites.
Which honestly mimics the physical experience of sitting at a bar, catching quick snippets of conversation before moving on. Then we have Culture and Cuts for the deep artist spotlights, and the community cookout for our live events and wellness discussions.
But I know what you're going to ask. You're going to play devil's advocate.
I am, yeah. Because when we first conceptualized this layout internally, There was a real conversation about risk. Like, does calling a serious, hard-hitting journalism section booth seating make us sound like a gimmick? Does it risk trivializing the very real, historically rich hip-hop art that we are trying to elevate?
And it's a valid question, right? But the reality is, it's a highly calculated psychological move on our part. If you look at the history of music critique, especially in the blog era, it is notoriously pretentious.
Oh, painfully pretentious.
Right. It feels like this exclusive VIP club where the critics are basically just trying to prove they are smarter and more cultured than the artists they are reviewing.
Super adversarial. Like the critic is the judge and the artist is literally on trial.
Precisely. And by using culinary terms, our platform instantly dismantles that adversarial dynamic. We create an organic, communal atmosphere. A cookout isn't a courtroom, it's a universally understood cultural touchstone for breaking bread.
It strips away all that defensive armor before the artist even reads the first sentence of the critique.
Exactly. It signals to the culture. We are family here. We are sitting in a booth together. The authority of our site doesn't come from a scary, intimidating section title. Our authority comes from the unyielding editorial rigor and the business model behind the quirky names.
So let's pivot to that business model. Because this week on the site, we really highlighted how Folded Waffle is functioning as a service-oriented partner for independent labels.
Right, our subscription model, which is something we are super proud of.
We offer a tiered subscription. It's $49 a month or $499 a year. And I know, off the rip, a listener might think, wait, in an industry where indie artists are historically broke, how do you justify charging them a monthly fee?
Yeah, people immediately think it's that old pay-to-play scam.
Exactly. Let's break down why it is the exact opposite of that extractive PR model that has plagued the scene for decades.
Well, the traditional model is basically a slot machine. An artist saves up $500, pays a massive blog to post their press release, and then nothing.
The post gets buried in 20 minutes.
Exactly. They get zero actionable data, zero sustained momentum, and their budget is just gone. We killed that model. We are not selling a guaranteed positive review, and we definitely aren't selling fake metrics.
Right. We are selling infrastructure.
Yes. For that $49, an independent label manager gets unlimited promo submissions, priority playlist placement, and detailed performance analytics.
Which means we are giving them the actual data on how their listeners are engaging, where the drop-offs are, all of that. And if they jump on that yearly tier, they get exclusive content creation, VIP event access, the whole nine.
Because the real reason indie artists fail isn't a lack of talent, it's the overwhelming, debilitating time commitment required for digital marketing. It leaves them too exhausted to actually make art. Our model shifts that burden onto our dedicated system.
I always explain it to artists on the site like a creative gym membership. If you buy fake Spotify streams, it's like paying for fake silicone muscles.
A completely hollow aesthetic.
Right. It pops the second you have to perform live. But with our subscription, you're paying for access to the gym, the professional equipment, the trainers, the biometric data to track your real growth. You still have to lift the weights. Your music has to be phenomenal. But we provide the facility.
And we are seeing the proof of this all over the site this week, especially with our featured artist spotlight.
Oh, man, yeah. We have to get into this. Our featured artist spotlight for the week of March 12th to the 19th is Conquest Now.
Out of San Francisco.
Out of San Francisco. They are an incredible artist collective pushing independent growth, collaboration, and true ownership in the culture.
And they are the absolute embodiment of the infrastructure we just talked about.
Yeah, Britt Hammond, who helps steer that collective, has been incredibly vocal about how our ecosystem is a game changer for them. Not because we hand them unearned fame, but because of the consistency we provide.
Right. Consistency is the rarest commodity in the music industry. Conquest Now utilizes our platform to ensure their promo is relentless and their growth is legitimate. They are out there doing the actual groundwork in the Bay Area, and we are just providing the engine to help scale that truth.
It's a beautiful partnership. But I want to make something very clear to the listener. Just because an artist like Conquest Now, or a boutique label, has the gym membership and pays for access to the platform, that does not mean they get a free pass on our reviews.
Oh, absolutely not. That is where we fiercely defend the line between marketing and journalism.
Right. Let's talk about the Waffle review in the booth seating section. We do not just listen to a track and say, yeah, the vibes are immaculate, go stream it.
No, we put the art through a brutal, strict 5-point metric system. We score everything from 1 to 10.
Originality, lyrical content, production quality, delivery, and replay value.
It forces our internal reviewers to drop their personal biases and be completely objective. It gives the artist an actual diagnostic tool.
I want to highlight a classic example of this that we've discussed internally, just to show how granular we get. We reviewed a project by John Keenan called Wreckage of the Past. Now, a standard PR blog would have praised the beat and moved on.
Sure.
We gave the overall project a 6.4.
Which is a tough pill to swallow. A 6.4 feels rough when you put your soul into a record.
It does. But the breakdown is where the value is. We gave the production quality an 8.0. Sonically, it was top tier, but we gave the replay value a 5.0.
And the justification for that is my favorite part. Our reviewers described the album as having a, quote, claustrophobic verisimilitude.
Claustrophobic verisimilitude. Well, I mean, what a phrase. For the listener out there who isn't deep into audio engineering or literary theory, what are we telling the artist there?
We are telling him, look, your storytelling is incredibly vivid and realistic. But it is so dense, so relentless in its heavy subject matter, with zero instrumental breathing room, that it literally suffocates the listener.
Right. We call it a bandaged mirror critique.
Yeah. We hold up a mirror to show them the difficult truths about their creative choices, but we do it to help them heal and improve. If every track is just a traumatic lyrical exercise, the ear gets exhausted.
But, we get pushback on this methodology from artists all the time. They ask us, how can Folded Waffle put a math score on something as subjective as a rapper's emotional delivery? Does it reduce vulnerability to a math test?
It's a fair question, but look at the saturated market. Artists today are drowning in an echo chamber of subjective praise. Their friends tell them it's fire, their family says they're a genius.
Right, everyone says it's a 10.
Then they drop the song, it gets 14 streams, and they are completely gaslit and confused. Objective metrics give them a grounding anchor.
Exactly. If your lyrics get a 9 but your delivery gets a 4, you don't need to write better poems. You need to get on a treadmill and practice your breath control. It's a developmental map.
And speaking of emotional projection, that actually leads perfectly into the deepest layer of what we do on Folded Waffle. Because the toughest battles aren't happening on a mixing board.
No, they are happening in the artist's mind.
Which is why we dedicate so much of our editorial space to mental health, but we don't treat it like a PR talking point. It is the foundational pillar of the artist. We call it the concrete gospel.
Yeah, our Folded Frequencies series. The stance we take here is wild compared to the rest of the industry. We tell artists that their greatest power in this digital chaos is stillness, not reaction.
Which completely goes against modern grind culture.
Exactly. Grind culture says you have to be online 24/7, reacting to haters, jumping on every single TikTok trend. We actively try to dismantle that on the site because it turns humans into content machines, and machines break.
Just look at the drops we've covered. We talked about Sam Snead's track, Monsters in My Head. We didn't just review the 808s. We analyzed how he used the literal process of engineering the music as armor to claim agency over his anxiety.
Right. By recording it, the anxiety is no longer a monster in his head. It's a waveform on a screen that he can compress, equalize, and control.
It's therapeutic engineering. We broke down Versifier's track, Flow State, the exact same way, using repetitive synth arpeggios as a form of sonic meditation.
And E. Kane's track, Off Tie Leash. That whole piece was about reclaiming physical space after overcoming addiction. We treat these releases as psychological milestones.
And we can't forget Knight's editorial on Tato's Give Me Closure. Knight completely shattered that toxic idea that men in hip-hop have to choose between hypermasculine confidence and vulnerability.
Right. He proved that true confidence actually requires vulnerability. And we expand this beyond just the music reviews. I mean, look at R. Sinclair's articles on the site.
Oh, Sinclair's dropping essential reading.
The taxonomy of the takers, protecting your frequency, navigating the tower of intentional chaos. I want the listener to really internalize this right now. Think about your corporate job or your friend group.
Yeah, everyone has them.
How many stagnation vampires do you have in your life?
Yeah.
People who just drain your momentum and demand your energy without offering value. Sinclair is literally giving our artists a masterclass in boundary setting and survival.
Because if you can't protect your frequency, you cannot protect your art. It's like an elite athlete, right? A sprinter has a grueling schedule, but they also have ice baths and sports psychologists.
The mental health infrastructure.
Exactly. An indie creator needs that exact same mental ice bath or their creative muscles will tear. And that is exactly why we partner with innovators like Godface.
Oh man, Godface is the perfect transition here.
He really is. For the listeners who don't know, Godface is an incredibly talented Oakland rapper, but he's also an entrepreneur and the co-owner of Fresh Thigh.
Right, which is a luxury wellness and cleansing brand.
And that is the absolute embodiment of our philosophy. Godface understands that the health of the artist and the human are the same thing.
He's taking the abstract concept of protecting your frequency and turning it into a tangible, physical self-care routine for the culture. It is brilliant.
It truly is. But to follow that athlete analogy, once the mind is right and you've taken the ice bath, you still have to get back on the track.
You need the practical mechanics.
Right. You stare at a blank screen in your digital audio workstation and you need a blueprint. Which brings us to the section of the site we literally call the architect's blueprint.
This is where Folded Waffle puts on the surgical gloves and becomes a room full of audio engineers. We don't just say, hey, make the beat hit harder.
No, we give highly specific interventions, like what we did with Joey Rose's track, Running Man.
Yes. Instead of vague advice, we suggested he incorporate a recurring rhythmic vocal sample at specific intervals to sonically mimic the feeling of constant physical motion.
We gave him the architectural code for running. And we did the same for Aguda on a track called 8. The song was about internal conflict, so we suggested utilizing reverse production techniques.
Okay, break that down for the layman real quick. How does reverse production actually manifest psychological tension?
So imagine a cymbal crash. It hits hard, then fades out. It releases energy. If you take that waveform in your software and play it backwards, it starts silent and builds into the sudden sucking vacuum that just stops abruptly.
Right.
If you put that right before a beat drop, it forces the listener's brain to anticipate the impact. It physically mimics holding your breath. We literally told the artist to use that technique to inject their psychological tension right into the audio file.
It's narrative audio engineering. And we anchor all of this modern tech advice in deep cultural history, like the Tupac Blueprint article we published.
The legendary piece on the site.
It breaks down the purported 5-year strategic plan Tupac built with his image consultant, the Don. By connecting our technical advice to Tupac's meticulous planning, we are telling our artists that legends don't happen by accident.
No, they're architected.
Exactly. You have to approach your career with rigorous militaristic strategy. And we see artists doing this brilliantly. Look at XNNY's track at VIP.
Yes, Victims Impact Panel.
She actually has a background in psychology. She took a compulsory, state-mandated DUI course, which is like the most depressing, sterile environment you can imagine. And she sampled the vibe of that room and turned it into a brilliant hip-hop anthem.
That is true sovereignty. She didn't let the system dictate her narrative. She turned the state's penalty into her own intellectual property.
And we have to shout out Miles Gaines here, too. Based out of L.A., artist, producer, entrepreneur, he completely embodies that dual role of being the creative visionary, but also the architect building the business structure around the vision.
Exactly. Miles Gaines gets it. But, you know, when we give out this much specific track-altering advice on Folded Waffle, we do get asked a tough question.
Yeah, I know the one.
People ask, at what point does Folded Waffle stop being a journalism platform and start becoming an uncredited producer? Like, are we just producing records from the comment section?
And we don't run from that tension at all. We want to blur that line. We don't want to just sit in the press box with binoculars. We want to be on the field. We want to be co-creators and educators.
We are trying to open source the knowledge. We want to give independent artists the actual codes to the industry.
Which is fully realized in our internal resource hub, the Waffle Fam Toolkit, curated by Lands and Tate.
It is basically a syllabus for digital self-sovereignty.
We give them the specific, vetted tech endorsements, like go to proaudiostar.com for affordable gear. Because we know capital is the biggest hurdle.
We also point them to specific software, like the Martinic Key Bass VST plugin.
Yeah, let's explain that. If you're a 19-year-old kid in your bedroom, you can't afford a massive, rare, 1960s analog synthesizer. Those things cost thousands and have literal vacuum tubes in them.
Right.
But a VST plugin mathematically models the sonic DNA of that physical hardware and condenses it into a download. We are telling these kids, here's the exact plugin to get $1 million vintage bass tone inside your laptop for cheap.
We also endorse Simply Piano and Simply Guitar because we want them learning actual music theory, not just clicking blocks on a grid. But the most vital part of the toolkit is probably the monetization aspect.
Oh, 100%. The partnership with CTRL Camp.
Yes. Teaching non-exclusive sync licensing. Sync licensing is when your music is placed in a movie, a video game, or a TV show. It is the holy grail of indie money.
But the trap is exclusivity.
Right. Historically, publishers would tell an indie artist, hey, sign this exclusive deal and we'll get you on Netflix, meaning the publisher takes a massive cut and the artist can never pitch that song anywhere else.
Sometimes they even lose their master recording.
Exactly. Through CTRL Camp on the site, we teach them non-exclusive licensing, meaning they keep 100% of their masters.
You can pitch the same song to a Hulu show and a local car commercial at the same time. We give them the legal codes to negotiate with corporate media without selling their souls.
It really is an open source movement. We are open sourcing the hip-hop industry.
And we ground all of this empowerment in our cultural heritage. We use that Haitian Creole proverb across the platform, "Nous pas péris, nous apprends pas nous sommes faux, nous."
We are not lost. We are taking a pause to remember our strength.
When you have 50 streams and feel like you're failing, that proverb tells you that you aren't lost. You are just taking a deliberate pause to build your infrastructure. And we see it working globally, like with Antoine Gibson charting in Europe.
It is a global ecosystem, but we got to pivot to the most fun, weird part of the Folded Waffle identity.
Oh yeah, the literal food crossovers.
Because when you name your media empire after a breakfast food, the SEO is going to get a little mixed up.
Oh, right. If you Google us, you'll find our sync licensing articles, but you'll also find Smakin' Waffle sandwiches in Portland. Or the Saibon Belgian Bistro in Rancho Mirage, selling an actual turkey BLT folded waffle.
And instead of hiring a PR firm to fix the ambiguity, we just leaned all the way into it.
We made it a lifestyle brand. We launched the Waffle Report, where we review visible community spaces, like that review of the Posh Bagel in Castro Valley.
That is still one of my favorite pieces. The reviewer noted the acoustic vibe, the Lady Gaga soundtrack, gave it 2 stars for aesthetics, but 4 stars for pure hospitality.
And that is why we shout out spots like Marathon Burger and Heike Burger. We are bridging the gap between what you listen to in your headphones and where you sit down to break bread with your community.
We even do this with our video section, Flavorful Critiques. We review indie music videos from LeBronx James and Riciola, but we also review episodes of Hot Ones.
Literally analyzing how Charlie Puth or Tiana Taylor handle spicy chicken wings.
Yeah, we review their pain tolerance.
But okay, let me play the skeptic one last time.
Oh, yeah.
Does reviewing a bagel shop or a spicy wing interview dilute our core journalistic mission?
Not if you understand the holistic nature of the culture. Hip-hop isn't just an audio file, it's the clothes you wear, the burger spots you hit after the show, the YouTube videos you laugh at. We are mapping the entire lived experience.
It ties back to the phrase, La vie c'est musique, que où c'est tambour. Life is music, your heart is the drum. You can't separate the art from the human, or the human from their community.
Exactly. So to bring this all home for the listener this week, Folded Waffle is a blueprint for sovereignty. We are giving artists, the architect, the therapist, the business manager, and the community all in one place.
And these lessons apply to you, even if you don't make music. If you are a freelancer protecting your IP, or a professional avoiding intentional chaos at work, the principles of discipline and community apply universally.
And just a reminder, our terms of service explicitly state that you retain all ownership of your intellectual property when you submit to our platform. It is a true partnership.
100%. So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with a thought to mull over for the week. As massive corporate conglomerates continue to buy up and sanitize the media while decentralized, community-driven ecosystems like Folded Waffle become the absolute only places left where unfiltered art and raw human culture can survive.
That is the defining question for our generation of creators.
Think on that? Tap in with us at foldedwaffle.com. Keep building your crown. We're out.
Say it with your chest when you say that. This is the Waffle Report. Wake up, break out, cut through the noise. This is the Waffle Report. Crunch time chatter for the girls and boys. Flip that script, don't twist, don't toy. Say it one more time. The Waffle Report. Hey, say it one more time. The Waffle Report.